A narrow mountain pass, thousands of Persian soldiers marching forward, and just 300 Spartans standing their ground, outnumbered but unbroken. The Battle of Thermopylae was more than just a fight, it was a symbol of defiance. King Leonidas and his warriors knew they were marching to certain death, but they stood firm, determined to hold the pass at any cost. How did such a small force resist the might of the Persian Empire? And what led to their heroic last stand? Stay with us as we uncover the legendary battle that changed history, the road to Thermopylae. The conflict between Greece and Persia had been brewing for decades. It all started when the Persian Empire, under King Darius I, tried to expand into Greece. In 490 BCE, the Greeks famously defeated the Persians at the Battle of Marathon, forcing them to retreat. But the war was far from over. After Darius's death, his son Xerxes I swore revenge. He spent years preparing an enormous invasion force. By 480 BCE, Xerxes assembled what was believed to be the largest army ever seen in the ancient world. Estimates vary, but modern historians suggest his force included 200,000 infantry, 10,000 elite Persian immortals, 10,000 cavalry, a massive fleet of warships. His goal? To crush the Greek city-states and bring them under Persian rule. Greek city-states unite. Greece, however, was not a unified nation. It was made up of independent city-states like Athens, Sparta, and Corinth, which were often at odds with each other. But facing an enemy as powerful as Persia, they set aside their differences and formed an alliance. The Spartans, led by King Leonidas, were chosen to lead the land forces, while the Athenians commanded the navy. The Greeks knew they couldn't match the Persians in open battle, so they needed a strategy. They identified Thermopylae, a narrow coastal pass, as the perfect place to make a stand. The plan was simple. Use the narrow terrain to neutralize the Persian numerical advantage in Dursu. Hold out as long as possible to delay the Persians. Give the rest of Greece time to prepare for the larger war ahead, Leonidas's march to glory. Leonidas handpicked 300 of Sparta's best warriors, all of whom had sons to carry on their lineage, a sign that their mission was a suicide mission. On their way to Thermopylae, they were joined by 7,000 Greek allies, including soldiers from Thespia, Thebes, and other city-states. By the time they reached the pass, the fate of Greece rested in their hands. The Persian army was approaching, and the Spartans stood ready for battle. The battle begins. Day 1. As dawn broke over Thermopylae, the Persian army stretched across the horizon, their sheer numbers creating an intimidating spectacle. The Greek forces, vastly outnumbered, stood in disciplined silence, forming their legendary phalanx formation at the narrowest part of the pass. King Xerxes I, watching from his golden throne atop a hill, expected the Greeks to retreat in fear. But when they stood their ground, he realized this would not be an easy victory. Determined to crush the defenders, Xerxes ordered his first wave of infantry, a mass of lightly armored Medes and Scythians, to break through the Greek lines. The Spartan phalanx, an impenetrable wall. As the Persian infantry charged forward, they slammed into the Greek phalanx, a tight formation of heavily armored hoplites, each carrying a large shield and a long spear. The Spartans, positioned at the front, stood shoulder to shoulder, their shields locked together, creating an impenetrable wall of bronze. The Persians, lacking heavy armor and discipline, found themselves pushed back. Every time they rushed forward, the Spartans thrust their spears with deadly precision, cutting down wave after wave of enemy soldiers. The narrow pass neutralized the Persian numerical advantage, forcing them into a bloody bottleneck where they could not outflank or surround the Greeks. Psychological warfare. Spartan confidence. As the battle raged, the Spartans displayed unshakable confidence. According to ancient sources, they fought with a calm, almost casual demeanor, at times mocking the Persians. Some even combed their hair before battle, a Spartan tradition before a fight to the death. This psychological warfare unnerved the Persians, making them question whether they could defeat such fearless warriors. Xerxes unleashes the immortals. Frustrated by his army's inability to break the Greek line, Xerxes ordered his elite shock troops, the Immortals, into battle. These 10,000 hand-picked soldiers were the Persian Empire's most feared warriors. known for their skill and discipline, but even the immortals were no match for the Spartan phalanx. The Greeks held firm, using their superior armor and tactics to repel the assault. In the confined space of the pass, the immortals found themselves fighting in chaotic conditions, unable to use their superior numbers effectively. By nightfall, the battlefield was piled with Persian dead, while the Greeks had suffered only minimal losses. The Spartans had won the first day, but they knew the battle was far from over. Day 2, the betrayal. After the devastating losses on Day 1, King Xerxes I was furious. He could not afford to waste more time against such a small Greek force. Determined to break through, he launched another full-scale assault at dawn. Another failed assault. Once again, the Persian army charged into the narrow pass, and once again, the Greek phalanx held strong. The Spartans, Thebans, and Thespians stood side by side, cutting down wave after wave of Persian troops. The bodies of the fallen piled up, turning the battlefield into a gruesome, blood-soaked bottleneck. Xerxes was bewildered. His mighty army, the largest force ever assembled, was being stopped by just a few thousand Greeks. No matter how many soldiers he sent, they could not break through the iron discipline of the Spartan warriors. The Persian morale plummeted. Some soldiers hesitated to charge, fearing they were marching to certain death. The turning point: a Greek traitor. That night, everything changed. A Greek traitor named Ephialtes, a local from the region, approached Xerxes with a secret. He revealed that there was a hidden mountain path, a narrow trail that led behind the Greek lines. If the Persians could send troops through this passage, they could outflank and surround Leonidas and his men. Xerxes immediately seized the opportunity. Under the cover of darkness, he sent his elite immortals on a silent march up the trail. The Greeks stationed at the top of the pass, 1,000 Phocians, were caught off guard. Though they attempted to resist, they were quickly overwhelmed by the Persian elite forces. The path was now open. Leonidas learns of the betrayal. At dawn, Greek scouts spotted the Persian advance coming from behind. A runner rushed to Leonidas, delivering the grim news: they had been betrayed. The Persian army would soon be upon them from both sides. Leonidas now faced an impossible decision. Should he order a full retreat, preserving his forces but abandoning the fight? Or should he stand and fight, knowing that it meant certain death? His choice would become the stuff of legend. The last stand, Day 3. As dawn broke on the third day of battle, Leonidas and his Spartans knew their fate was sealed. The Persian army, now reinforced by the troops that had marched through the secret mountain path, was closing in from both sides. The Greek position was hopeless, but instead of surrendering, Leonidas made his final decision. He and his men would fight to the death. The final defense. Leonidas ordered most of the remaining Greek forces, including the Thespians and Thebans, to withdraw while they still could. However, 700 Thespians chose to stay, standing side by side with the 300 Spartans. Fully aware they would not live to see another sunrise, the 400 Thebans, on the other hand, were less willing but were forced to remain. The Greeks retreated to a small hill, the last defensible position within the pass. Here they prepared for their final stand. With their backs against the cliffs, they formed a defensive ring, their shields locked together for one last resistance against the Persian onslaught. Leonidas falls. The Persian attack began with a relentless barrage of arrows, turning the sky black. But the Spartans, refusing to fall easily, fought on with their remaining spears and swords, cutting down as many Persians as they could. Leonidas, the warrior king, fought at the front lines until he was struck down. Accounts suggest that he fought with unwavering ferocity, killing multiple Persian warriors before succumbing to his wounds. As soon as their king fell, the Spartans rushed to recover his body, determined to protect it from desecration. The battle now turned into a brutal hand-to-hand melee, with the Greeks wielding broken spears, swords, and even their bare hands. The final moments. Xerxes, enraged by the resistance, ordered his men to finish the battle. More Persian troops flooded into the pass, overwhelming the remaining Spartans and Thespians. With nowhere left to go, the last defenders fought until they were completely surrounded. Legend says that the Spartans fought to their last breath, taking down as many Persians as possible before they were finally wiped out. In the end, every Spartan and Thespian was slain. but they had left an unforgettable mark on history. The war continues. Though the Spartans fell, their sacrifice ignited a Greek resistance. Just months later at the Battle of Salamis, the Greeks struck back, defeating the Persian navy. But Xerxes wasn't done yet. Would Greece survive the full might of the Persian Empire? Or was this just the beginning of an even greater war? Stay with us as we reveal how Greece fought back and changed history forever. Enjoying the journey through history? Make sure to hit that subscribe button and join our community of history enthusiasts. Don't forget to leave a comment below. Tell us what you think, share your favorite historical insights, or suggest a topic you'd love to see us explore. And if you know someone who would love diving into the past, share this video with them. Let's uncover history together.